It's like this song is attacking you. Just so much heaviness being thrown at you. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Molly, and in this video I'm going to be listening to the album Demanufacture by Fear Factory. Now, I am not at all familiar with Fear Factory. To the extent of my knowledge, I've never heard any of their songs before, but a lot of you have suggested them to me in the comments, so I'm excited to dive into their discography, and I figured I'd start off with their second studio album, Demanufacture, that they released in 1995. This overall seems to be their most suggested album, so yeah, I'm really excited to dive into this one and see what I'm going to think of it. Alright, so starting this album off is the title track, Demanufacture. Was that just a gunshot that I heard? I'm loving all of these blast beats coming from the drums. So much intensity. Almost angelic sounding vocals here. Well, that was track 1, Demanufacture, and I guess that's my introduction to Fear Factory. I really liked how it started off with, it sounded like a train going by on a track or something. A lot of very industrial heavy noises, but there was kind of this smooth, modern quality to the sound as well. I really liked the contrast too between those angelic vocals at times, and then the lead singer's voice was just so heavy and intense, and with all of that sudden stopping and starting and everything, just such a harshness to that track. But I'm going to move on to track 2, which is called Self-Bias Resistor. Is that the bass that I'm hearing? I love it. It's kind of a springy tone almost. Okay, that's quite a sudden change up with the vocals. These guitars, oh, I love how rapid they're playing them. It's like gunfire. It's so unrelenting. Something very haunted about this vocal delivery, how it's so echoey like this. That was track 2, Self-Bias Resistor. The vocals there really caught me off guard, the more clear melodic ones on the chorus. I'm wondering now if Fear Factory has more than one vocalist, because their voices just sounded so different, such a contrast. It was almost like at times that song would kind of rise out of the heaviness and pull you out a bit, and then they would just hammer you over the head with the intensity again. But moving on to track 3 is Zero Signal. Man, it's like that song just came sweeping in all of a sudden with this intensity. Yeah, there's something so amazingly atmospheric about this one. Almost like a hollowness to the sound and this smoothness, but then they kind of fill it in with all of these rapid bursts coming from the guitar and the percussion. almost like I'm in a computer game with these sound effects going on. It's interesting too, I'm picking up on some vocal themes surrounding religion and like praying, being on his knees, losing all faith. And it almost sounds like he's in a church with the ambience of this song. It's really cool. That was track 3, Zero Signal. It started off very atmospheric. There were all of these little electronic things that they were doing, and it had that smooth, polished, sort of modern quality to its tone. And then they brought in like the piano, and again with the vocals, how they were changing that up too, between the clean and the heavy. It almost reminded me of a mashup between like the heavy, punchy elements of Pantera, and then those dramatic flares in the piano that kind of is in the vein of like Typo Negative. And then you had these little electronic modern elements that were reminding me of like New Order or Depeche Mode or something along those lines. Just so much stuff blended together. I'm really fascinated by this album so far. But I'm going to continue on with track 4, which is called Replica. Okay, this one's definitely embracing their heavier end, that's for sure. Just with all of this sudden sharpness, like the stopping and starting that they're doing. Their vocal dynamics, man, it always surprises me when these clean vocals come in. They're just so different. There's almost a bounciness to this song. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Even though it's so harsh, it kind of has this relaxed sort of springiness to it. There's such a theatrical flair to this vocal delivery on the chorus here. That was track 4, Replica. I loved the punchiness of that one, a really heavy track. It definitely kind of leaned into more of a nu metal style with its sound. It sort of had this awesome, relaxed, sort of laid back quality, even though it was bringing all of that punchy aggression too. And I loved the instrumentals on that one, just so much punchiness, how they were stopping it and starting it so suddenly. Okay, moving on is track 5, which is called New Breed. See, what is that sound? I love these effects that they're using. It almost sounds like it's ripped from a movie soundtrack or something. Yeah, this chorus is bringing back all of these sharp, sudden bursts, but then at times the song will smooth out and it has that ambience to it. That was track 5, New Breed. That one had so many interesting sounds going on, a very futuristic flair to it. That one really reminded me of what Static X does with their music, how they blend so much intensity with this sort of streamlined, futuristic, almost dance music style quality to it. But a really fun track, just filled with energy, that's for sure. But I'm going to move on to track 6, which is called Dog Day Sunrise. that a flute that I just heard? I can't tell. There's like this really light melodic tone I keep picking up on, very faintly. I love how this song sounds almost stretched out right here. There's almost like a simmering quality to these guitars. That was track 6, Dog Day Sunrise. I loved how that one sort of dissipated out at the end like that, and it started too with sort of fading in gently, and it had this warmer tone to it. And tonally, yeah, I'm just fascinated by this band, because you compare that song to that last track, New Breed, which had this amazing punchiness, a lot of heaviness, and then Dog Day Sunrise, it almost sounds like a different album or even a different band that I'm listening to. It's such a different tone. All right, up next is track 7, which is called Body Hammer. It sounds like an anvil or something with that metallic banging sound they're using. Again, sort of bringing this industrial tone into their music. Interesting vocal delivery. It almost sounded like he was being plunged underwater just there. I love the drums right here. They have this really sharp popping sound to them. It's like this song is attacking you. Just so much heaviness being thrown at you. Man, that tone of the bass, I love it. Well, that was track 7, Body Hammer. As I was sort of expecting based on the track title, that one definitely brought a lot of heaviness to it. I loved the industrial tones that they were bringing into that one. And I'm really enjoying, despite how heavy they're taking their music at times, they're keeping this amazing, streamlined, sort of polishedness to it as well. It's almost giving this album like this futuristic flair, almost like it could be taken from a sci-fi thriller soundtrack or something. It's really cool. But moving on to track 8 is Flashpoint. Okay, right here at the start, this is giving me some Broken by 9 Inch Nails vibes for sure. There's that little screechy sound effect I keep hearing. Again, it's little touches like that. It's adding a lot of almost cinematic elements to this music. That was track 8, Flashpoint. Certainly a speedy little song, that's for sure. That one really didn't let you breathe much. It kind of just got started and didn't stop. There was that portion toward the end there where they briefly brought back in those more melodic, lighter sounding vocals, but that was very short-lived before the aggression came back in. Alright, up next is track 9, which is called HK or Hunter Killer. They won't shoot you, they won't stab you? Is that what I just heard? Man, they really built the suspense up with that one, how it started with that sort of bleak introduction. I loved that echoiness just there, how the lyrics kind of just faded out like that. Well, that was track 9, HK Hunter Killer. Really interesting one. I loved the start, how ambient it was. Like I said, it was building up all of this tension. You could feel something bubbling right underneath the surface. And then they brought in all of that punchy energy and they really brought that song to full force there on the verses. And then the chorus brought yet another aspect to their sound. It smoothed out and it sort of had that haunted, ethereal tone to it. But I'm going to continue on with track 10, which is called Pisschrist. Again, we have that hammer striking an anvil sound, sort of this jarring metallicness in the background. It's like all of a sudden the clouds have parted and now the sun is shining through. Yeah, look to the sky on Judgment Day. That's interesting. I just made that comment about how like the sun started shining through on the chorus, almost like you're looking to the sky and God is shining his almighty light down or something. Sonically, that's almost what this song is exemplifying. That was track 10, Pisschrist. I loved the ambience of that one. It sort of had this very faint, echoey quality to it. Again, almost like you're in a church or something. And that one, they utilized those vocal dynamics in a really clever way. It was almost like on the verse, you had one person like crying out to God. And then on the chorus, it was like God's voice kind of coming in with that really light, ethereal tone, like the sun shining through. All right, so I'm really intrigued to see how this album is going to come to a close. So moving on to the final song on Demanufacture is track 11 called A Therapy for Pain. That's a really cool tone from that instrument they're using. It almost has an organ-like quality to it. There's such an immensity to this song, like a grandiosity to its tone. Yeah, it's almost like this track is taking that heaviness that they've implemented on this album, but they're kind of stretching it out. Like these drums have this amazing capacity of sound to them. They're bringing so much energy. It's just less rapid. It's less in your face, and they're kind of stretching it out more with its sound. It almost sounds like a monster lurking in the dark corner of a cave or something, like just coming out to attack you. Well, that was track 11, A Therapy for Pain. Certainly a bleak way to bring this album to a close. That song started off very light and angelic sounding. Again, they kind of brought in the more melodic vocals. And then about halfway through that track, it's like you got shut off and you just got plunged back into that really cold, bleak atmosphere that they created. It almost made my skin crawl in a way, just such a hauntedness to its tone, and they really did an amazing job of building up all of this tension with that track. Well, that concludes my reaction to Demanufacture, the second studio album from Fear Factory. I'm not gonna lie, this record actually really surprised me. I went into this reaction expecting like a very heavy album, and of course we got that. But this record fused so many other elements on there. I was not expecting the melodic vocals at all, and there was a lot of ambient and electronic tones that they used as well, and they just combined it all into a really fascinating record. The opening track, Demanufacture, was for sure a standout. I really liked on that one how they were fusing those two different vocal styles. Track 4, Replica, brought an amazing punchiness to it with all of that sudden stopping and starting that they were doing. And track 7, Body Hammer, I've got to mention as a favorite as well. That one had so much heaviness to it, and they were really embracing those industrial tones on that one. But Demanufacture, this whole record was a blast to listen to. I definitely want to hear more of Fear Factory's music now, and I know a lot of you want me to check out their third studio album, Obsolete, as well, so I'll definitely plan a reaction for that one. And yeah, as usual, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video.